Hello, welcome to this week's week ahead recording. Last week was quite a good week, I have to admit. We did have the Euro rally a tiny bit, even though in consolidation, you could obviously look at the smaller time frames for certain patterns or whatever indicators you use. However, on the weekend, we did have the EU summit run through Friday to Saturday. Today at 3 p.m., we might hear more as well regarding the EU summit. That's my main focus at the moment. They There is a bit of a compromise within the deal. There is no deal set. It could be at the end of the month, or it could take a couple of weeks. They have been even saying that they could even meet on the 31st of this month again. The negotiations, however, are going forward. There is a bit of a process, as I said, progress, and what they did do is they lowered the amount of grant, which is understandable because they are quite worried the fruitals of their yeah they're thinking, well, our country is going to pay back the package that they're going to give. As well as that, we have the US stimulus package as well, which ends this month as well. Are they going to issue a fifth check? Is something we will be looking at as well. We've got the flash PMIs at the end of the week. Regarding Monday is quite quiet for the data front. And we've got the earnings as well of Microsoft and Tesla, which I'll be looking at, and IBM and the US airlines, which will be quite interesting considering what we've been through. Diving right into it, going through the Euro weekly. I've not changed anything apart from the arrows, as you can see. I did take the trade up above as it went up above the 200 EMA, which I was on about last week as well. And its target would be about 115 areas. As the EU summit is kind of looking a bit optimistic, we could even get higher to the 116. Obviously, it's not going to be done within a day or weeks. It's something to be quite patient on, and obviously, as market moves in waves, it doesn't go in a straight line. On the daily, this is the area I took the trade on. Right here, as I was talking about last week. We've reached above that key area of the low 14 areas, and now we're at the 14.5 areas. The next area is the 115, and obviously you'd go higher as well to the various levels that you can see on the weekly. Looking at the 4-hour, I did put the levels in, and actually if you look at a lower time frame, it kind of looks like inverse head and shoulders. Got this trend line. If it does go below the trend line, I'll be looking for maybe a short potential intraday kind of scalp trade. However, with the optimism that's coming out, I'd be looking again going to reach the 115 handle. Looking at the pound, the weekly still the same in the wedge formation, and I'm still bullish. I like a dollar, but the daily, this is my favorite chart. Okay, and I took a couple of scalps last week on the pound when it went around these levels here near 50 EMA. Now, I went on about it last week again. We've just not passed this trend line. We are consolidating. You could even maybe go through a low time frame, which we will go through in the 4-hour. It could be a bullish flag. It could be anything, but as long as it goes above, let's say the 126.5 handle, then you've got bullish confirmation. Maybe go to the 127 and the lower ends of the 128 handle. But this is what I've got. Right, when I was saying a bullish flag maybe is right here, maybe we could trend down and then go all the way up. Also, I've got kind of a wedge triangle formation happening here, and that trend line is key. Okay, so above the trend line, a bit of bullish momentum, maybe a little pullback, and the bulls are again back in control. Aussie didn't really do much. I've not changed anything. It's really struggling, to really get above these areas. However, above the 70 areas, you can do 70 and a half and the 72 areas. But looking at it daily, look, we're just not going past this 70 and a half handle. It's really struggling. And as soon as we do, I have an alert on, and I do want to go bullish to the high ends of the 0.71 areas. So, but if we do get the bears in control, that's okay. Just go below the 0.69 lower areas, and maybe your target would be the 0.68 and a half area. But again, I've got a bit of a wedge, and whichever way it breaks, that's fine. You've got the target again, which I've kept this target since last week of the bulls, and for the bears as well. There is a nice target, but be careful again with the 50 EMA holding up quite nicely. Below the 50 EMA, might look for a bear potential scalp. Kiwi, not much changed, even on a weekly. Not much change, still in consolidation. Could do your target again, as I said last week, is 200 EMA. Looking at a daily, well, it's as simple as this. If it goes above the 0.65 area, high areas or 0.65, yes, you could be looking for the 0.66 areas. 0.66 and a half, you say. But in intraday, got a pennant, whichever way it breaks, take the trade. Cat. Weekly, nothing's changed. It's some compare it with the oil as well. That hasn't changed either. But the weekly is just not giving me anything. So I'd be looking at it daily, and we're still in the wedge. If we do go up the trend line, obviously look at the bullish stance of the 138 areas, and obviously if we go through the bears below the trend line, look at the 32 areas and maybe potentially the 130 handle. 4 hour, it's still stuck in consolidation. It's still within the range. You could even trade the range, but like I said on daily, whichever way it breaks, take that trade. It goes to. Looking at Swiss, the weekly is really giving me nothing. The daily is that kind of works. Put a trend line here. Okay. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. It kind of looks like a bearish flag, but below the 0.93 and a half areas, to look for a bearish stance, and your target could be near the 1618 Fibonacci retracement, and just the next support area, which is 0.92 and a half above the trend line, bullish. Be careful of the 50 EMA, and maybe your target would be the 0.95 and a half areas. Yeah, I've actually got an interesting setup on again. Weekly, not changed. Can't give much on the weekly. This is what I'm looking at daily, and I found it quite interesting. We are consolidating, right? If you go below, obviously the trend line, the bears are in control. About 200 EMA, you got a bullish stance, but this is what I see, and that's actually quite nice. It is a pattern. If we do go above, kind of a pennant, and whichever way it breaks, take the scalp, or the intraday kind of trade that you guys want to take. The next resistance would be around 107 high areas, and if it breaks down below this nice kind of trend line and goes with our pattern as well, you can go with the 106 and a half areas. Last week I gave the minor pair of the Euro Swiss. That worked out very nicely. That was a great risk reward. this week, the minor pair I'm looking at is Aussie Kiwi. Okay, that has a very nice pattern to it. On the higher time frames as well, could be a great momentum trade. Um, that's all for now, really. But be careful of the data front. Obviously, the EU summit and how that goes, um, and obviously the flash PMIs at the end of the week. But I hope you guys have a great week, and take care.